you see those strongest returns. In fact, if we look just at the wind itself, you will see these very bright colors in here indicating wind gusts of perhaps 50 to 60 or greater that will be coming up along with these storms. So back to reflectivity we go. And if you are just tuning in now, the best thing to do is go ahead and get in your safe place. If you're in Vanderburgh, Posey, Henderson County, or Morganfield area there in Union County, and also, of course, Webster and Hopkins, who have been under warnings here for about the last 45 minutes or so. That line going all the way down here, and it will be moving into Dawson Springs here momentarily. Again, we're looking at potentially damaging wind gusts, but we can't rule out a tornado spinning up in this environment either. And I'm going to kind of lead that a little bit with the tracking. So we have Nebo arrival time at 12:10. Dawson Springs here in about 3 minutes at 12:04. Again, we're looking at damaging winds as the main threat. Slaughters, 12:18. Greenville at 12:25. Then up the line, we go into Webster County. Again, same thing. We're looking at arrivals of about 12:08 at Dixon, Roberts at 12:19, 12:20, and then Calhoun there in McLean County. You already had a warning. This is a new one, and that will go until 12:28. Farther up the line, we go into Union County and Henderson, 12:19. Howell there on the west side of Evansville by about 12:20, and then downtown Evansville by or the east side by 12:26. Melody Hill is out by the airport. We will clear all that off, and if you are watching us in any of these locations, you've seen the sky kind of turn back ugly again, and notice those winds. Caroline Clapp is actually looking at our social media feeds now for your pictures and reports. And Caroline, what are you hearing? Okay, I'm sorry, Caroline, we're gonna go back. We gotta get your mic going there. Just to recap again here, the line of severe thunderstorms moving to the northeast at 70 will reach the Evansville-Henderson area by about 12:20 to 12:25. We're expecting damaging wind gusts of 50 to 70 miles per hour as these move. Remember, the storms themselves are moving at almost 70 miles per hour, so you almost can't miss on having damaging winds. Okay, we got Caroline turned on now. Caroline, what are you seeing on our social media feed?
Yes, we are good to go now. Thank you, everyone who has sent in your photos and videos today. Right now, what we're seeing is a lot of flooding pictures and videos. So I want to take you through those that we have seen here. Well, actually, I think we're getting a new warning in, so let's toss back to you, Jeff.
Warning right now, tornado warning for Union County. So we're going to come back around to that. And this includes the city of Morganfield, also Corydon, Waverly, and that tornado is right within that mass there. You kind of see the indication there, the blue and the green, as that's moving to the north. Let's track that first. And as it comes to the north here at 70 miles an hour, that's going to be moving on into Morganfield in just a few minutes here. The potential tornado here. Remember, these are rapid spin-up tornadoes. Might be difficult to see, even rain-wrapped. Uniontown at 12:14, and then Corydon at 12:18. So basically, right up US 60 here in Union County. As that continues then into Henderson County, that would be out around Smith Mills and Audubon Elementary School there, and then on into Henderson. So anybody in those areas right now, you need to be in shelter, which is away from windows, interior portion of your home, closet, basement, and the like. And the tornado warning will continue here, I believe, until 12:30, so about 25 minutes on that. You can see where we're indicating it right now. Now, this is a radar indicated tornado warning, meaning we don't have confirmation on the ground, but we were expecting and are expecting perhaps more warnings along this line as we go into the next hour or so. You can see some notches here in the line, and that's where the wind is spinning around, and that's probably most pronounced right up here to the south of Morganfield. I want to actually zoom in quite a bit more here just on Union County, since that's where our warning is at this time. And it's really, really important. You know, we haven't had tornado warnings in western Kentucky here for quite some time. To take this seriously, because this one could sneak up on you pretty quickly. You see this area here along US 60 here, that'd be out around the high school actually when this picture came in. Now it's farther up the road right now, and if we put that into motion, you'll see how the two areas here are coming together. So it's kind of a broad circulation, but that could definitely trigger a tornado. So Union County, you are under the gun right now, especially between Sturgis and Morganfield here along US 60. If you are in that area, you got to be in shelter now, and as we've mentioned many times, that is away from windows and into the basement level of your home. And I think Caroline has some power outages now too. We're going to go back over to Caroline Clapp and then to Arden Gregory on this. Again, tornado warning until 12:30 for Union County. Go ahead, Caroline.
Yeah, Jeff, we're seeing a lot of power outages coming into our newsroom. Take a look here. Right now we have 945 customers without power in this area around Greenville. We have multiple energy reports coming in, so let's go through a few more for you. Now, Muhlenberg County area, we have 850 customers without power in that area, so a significant number there. Over in Ohio County, that area seems to be not seeing any issues, just one customer reporting power outages there.
Thanks for that update, Caroline. We're going to go back now to Arden Gregory in just a second, and we'll let them get set up for that. Again, a tornado warning for Union County, and that will go all the way up until 12:30. This is a radar-indicated tornado. We did the storm track for you earlier on that, and let me zoom in just on where we have the tornado warning. We'll do a quick track, and then we're going to get right over to Arden Gregory here, so we'll clear the warning off. And the track here basically is from just south of Morganfield. Now, it would be right around the high school there, Union County High School. And then if we track to the north, east at 70, and that's showing winds of 70 to 75 miles an hour. But if we track that all the way up the road here, that's actually going to be a little early, but you're looking at cities like Breckenridge City Center rather there, Camp Breckenridge, and the Job Corps Center, and then Corydon at 12:24. These times would be actually a little bit earlier than that, about 12:14, and then into Henderson perhaps by 12:20 or so. Let's go to Arden Gregory now. She's in the Weather Center with some new information. Arden.
Yeah, I'm just reports here, Jeff. We're trying to get a live pic from the station in Paducah where they have reporters out looking at some of this damage now. I think we're working on getting that where we can view it now. Okay, so here's, I don't know who this reporter is, so this video may be a little hit or miss, but certainly you can see lots of wind damage there. We are getting several reports within the National Weather Service chat of reports of multiple power poles and power lines down, trees uprooted, shingles blown off of roofs, things of that nature. Obviously, it'll take some time to determine for sure how much of this is straight line wind damage, but some of it certainly looks like it could be tornado damage in portions of western Kentucky. And again, this is outside of the tri-state. So again, this is where these storms have already moved through. We had some of these reports of damage, and again, this is just a reporter's live feed that we tapped into here, so I don't know what all we're going to be getting. It may be a little dizzying at times, but certainly we are seeing reports and substantiated reports, as you saw there, of wind damage already caused by this line. So as it now moves into the tri-state, those are the kinds of things you need to be prepared for, which is, again, Jeff, why we urge everyone to get away from windows, as it could potentially take down trees, power lines, and things of that nature. So you want to be inside in that safe space to protect you from anything like that.
Okay, thanks, Arden, for that update. We're going to go back to Caroline Clapp. She has some new information, but before we do that, we have a new warning, a set of them now for Davis County, McLean, and also Muhlenberg County. So I wanted to do sort of a walk and talk through that, because much of the area here is expecting severe wind in the next half hour or so. The newest warnings are out here to the east of the original warnings, and I'm going to do it so I can show you the individual ones. So the first, the newest warning now until 1 o'clock is for our eastern counties. So that's Davis, Henderson, eastern Henderson County, Hopkins, McLean, Muhlenberg, and Webster. And then back behind that, of course, we have the highest priority here, our tornado warning for a radar indicated tornado, and that will continue for another 20 minutes. I wanted to look again at our wind display, and we're going to zoom in a little tighter here into Union County, and the area that is of most concern now moving into Morganfield, so is likely either in or right through Morganfield at this time. And when we look at the wind speeds indicated here by the radar, some of these are going to be pretty intense, especially right in there around downtown Morganfield. Now there it goes, it just updated, which is what I was waiting for. But we're seeing winds just radar indicated now of between 80 and 40 to 50 miles per hour. So if you're in Morganfield or now out to the north there by the Earl Clements Job Corps Center and going on up US 60, you need to be in shelter right now, and that would include the city of Corydon, a little farther up the line. Just think of all the cities there along US 60. This is again for Union County, now in Morganfield, but moving up US 60. So if you live close to US 60, between Morganfield up to Corydon and then toward Henderson, you need to be in your shelter place right now, and you need to stay put until we have new information. We're going to go to Caroline Clapp now. She has some new data, or new pictures rather, coming in on our social feed. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, I mentioned earlier we're seeing a lot of flooding images, but now we're finally getting those first images showing the wind damage. So take a look at this. Wanda Cornelia sent this into our newsroom about an hour ago. This was taken near Greenville, Kentucky in Weir. So again, you can see here, it looks like a barn here, completely roof knocked down from the wind. Here's one more angle of it. You can see here, I mean, wind completely took this structure out. Again, this is Greenville, Kentucky, and we have one more to show you here of a fence, and this is Hancock County. This is what I wanted to show you here. You can see the wind did some damage to this fence structure on the deer farm in Hancock. Sean sent us that one, so thank you for sending us those.
Okay, Caroline, we have a new tornado warning, and this one is in Posey County now, actually the northern edge of Union into Posey County. So that would include the city of Mount Vernon. So obviously we have a lot of schools there in Mount Vernon. We have West Elementary. We also have Mars and Farmersville, so and St. Matthews, so and Mount Vernon Junior and Senior High School. So a cluster of schools here. Everybody hopefully is already into the safe spots right now, but this is in Posey County, and the center of the storm right now moving across Point Township there out by J.T. Myers Lock and Dam. And again, this is a radar indicated tornado warning, and that will continue until 12:45. So we're looking at all of southern Posey County down here in Point Township, Hovey Lake, J.T. Meyer Lock and Dam. Then on the other side of the river, you'd have Uniontown here along the river, Halsey Bottoms region, and the like. And that warning actually goes all the way to the county line, so even like St. Philip, and then back to the north toward Wadesville, and also out in the middle of the county there, Springfield and places like that. You're under a tornado warning now until 12:45, Posey County. We're going to look at the wind information, and it's right kind of in here, kind of hard to see. It doesn't really jump out at you like the typical tornado signature would, and there's a good reason for that. We have strong winds blowing anyway. It kind of blurs the image a little bit, but we are seeing winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour here, very close to the surface. Remember, the radar is just up the road here at Owensville. So I would have a lot of trust in these numbers that we're showing you as being pretty accurate. So these winds are moving up toward Mount Vernon right now, and if we do a storm track on this, what you'll see is we have a lot of folks in harm's way here based on that signature that I just showed you on the radar. Mount Vernon, we're looking at the arrival at 12:22. That's 8 minutes from now with the wind. It could be a little earlier than that, so in the safe place now. New Harmony then, up the road there, up State Road 69 at 12:31, and then of course on the west side of Evansville, out by USI mainly, basically anything west of St. Joe Avenue, you need to be prepared to move to shelter right now. And in the other locations there that you saw on the screen need to be in safe spot right now. We'll clear that off. And the warnings here are probably going to come fast and furious as we get a little farther down the event. And what I mean by that is we've had this squall line. It's wrapping around. Remember, we have intense low pressure moving overhead, so everything is already kind of enhanced, and the atmosphere is juiced up for severe weather. So that's why we're starting to see these spin-up type tornadoes out there too. Let's check our tornado reports and see if any have made it all the way through the system, and we don't have anything confirmed just yet. Wind reports, we've had a number of those, mainly to our south, and again, these filter in kind of after the fact, so we may not have that for you either. But when we go back just to the straight radar picture right now, very concerning here for Posey County. So if you're in, even if you're in Monty, Illinois, here right over the bridge, or New Haven, and then down here, basically just to the south of 141 there, so the bridge going across the Wabash River. That area also at risk right now for severe storms. A little tighter view here. I want to look at two things, and then we will throw it back over to Arden Gregory here. I know she's been looking at some other information that I can't look at while I'm out here. And these tornado signatures are not the typical that we would see just because the winds alone are kind of blurring everything out. But the takeaway here is your brighter blues, which are blowing toward the radar. See, we're showing 74, 75 miles an hour, and even higher. They're aloft, right? And so that wind is being forced to the ground, and that's where we're getting the possible damaging winds and tornadoes. Any way you slice it, we're going to see some damaging winds or wind damage today in Mount Vernon, and then down into Union and Western Henderson County. Our NOAA News Department is on it right now. We've got reporters fanning out to check out damage and things like that. We're going to go back over to Caroline Clapp right now. She, of course, is looking through all the information you're sending. If you have a picture, a report from your area, damage, like a tree down, something like that, it's very easy to submit that. I'll show you how to do it, and then we will go over to Caroline. You can use the 14 First Alert app. That's probably the easiest way. You just scroll to the bottom and use that. We also have another way to do it here. I'm not sure if that's in this particular slideshow or not, where you can do it on our website. But either way, we are interested in your reports. After all, we're trying to help each other here. So if you have information, pass it along. Caroline, what are you seeing now?
Yeah, Jeff, for the website version of how to submit those photos, just go to 14news.com and click on the menu, and on the third option down, it says send us your photos or videos. Very simple to find. But this one was just sent into our newsroom 12 minutes ago by JD. This is flooding in his front yard and driveway near just north of Fort Branch, he says. Take a look. Obviously, this is his home here, and the entire front yard completely flooded. We've gotten several images like this one just showing a lot of people seem to be like they can't get out of their drives and yards right now, Jeff. It's pretty significant, the flooding, and it seems that he can't get safely out of his home right now.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. And again, our current situation is this. We have tornado warnings in effect right now for Posey County, Gallatin County, and Northern Union County. And then we have an additional tornado warning in effect for just Union County. That one's going to clear here in a couple of minutes at 12:15. So those are the newer one is in effect until 12:30, and that does include the city of Mount Vernon, Indiana, as well as basically everything south of State Road 66. And now we have a new tornado warning. This one is for Vanderburgh County. So this is and you hear the EBS tones going there. Right now, if you have a cell phone, that's going to be coming in too. So you really need to be away from windows right now. You got to get in a safe place and stay there, because this is going to be moving in very rapidly here from the southwest into Vanderburgh County. That's our newest warning right now. I think this is the first tornado warning we've had in Vanderburgh County, certainly this year. and maybe in an entire year. That warning for Vanderburgh County is going to go until 1 o'clock. You hear the sirens going again. Please, if you're in Vanderburgh County right now, and that includes Union Township down here, the city of Henderson, western Henderson County, which would be out by Smith Mills, Geneva, and then down toward Corydon. Everybody here is at risk for tornadoes at this time, or at least damaging wind gusts. So you need to take this seriously. We know it's going to move in very quickly. This also includes the 14 News studio here, so I'm just going to make a blanket announcement. Now I know our crew's watching there in the control room. If we have to evacuate briefly, we will leave the radar up and go to your safe spots, and we know where that is here. It's the dressing rooms, and of course, if you're in the control room, you're pretty safe there, but maybe get to that central area. When I say we're still a couple minutes away, I don't know if we can look at the weather camera or not. Maybe Arden can pull that. One of us has it. We will show you what the sky looks like coming in, but obviously with the damaging wind threat moving in, there is a very strong signature now for a possible tornado showing winds of 102. So if I were looking at this map, that's the thing that sticks out the most right now. So let's examine that a little more closely and do a storm track from it. And as this moves to the north here at about 65 to 70 miles an hour, that's going to be right on us here in Evansville at about 12:33. There is our weather camera looking west over the Lloyd Expressway. I'd like for you, if you can, to pan that to the left or to the south just a little bit. And also, if we can look at our studio camera, Arden has that one right now. Maybe we'll go over to her in a second if she can control that. But we are under a tornado warning now, both for Henderson and Evansville until 1 o'clock. And we are showing winds of perhaps 100 miles per hour off the deck, which could translate down to the ground as well. So please move to shelter right now and do not delay wherever you happen to be. I'm going to switch over here to Arden for a second while I reset over here on the radar. And Arden, you've been looking, of course, at the storm reports and that. You're looking at the west side now. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so right now I'm taking a look at some of our sky cams, trying to get a better view of this storm as it approaches Evansville, as you said. The winds, the main concern with this right now. Obviously, there is that risk of a tornado, obviously, but even if you're outside of the tornado area, this line of storms, as it moves in, very strong winds. We have been getting reports as this line of storms has moved through western Kentucky already of reports of potential tornado damage and certainly quite a bit of wind damage. And that same storm system now moving into Evansville. So we'll be watching for those same things. Expect some, down trees potentially, down power lines, power poles, shingles taken off of roofs, things of that nature. So that's the kind of thing that we're going to be monitoring for as this moves into the Evansville metro area within the next few minutes. But we are certainly trying to pan some of our cameras around right now and get a better view of this storm as it approaches the Evansville metro area right now, Jeff.
Thanks, Arden, for that. And again, if you're just tuning in, perhaps you heard the sirens, you wonder what's going on. We have a tornado warning for Evansville and Henderson right now, our metro area, the most densely populated area in the tri-state. And this tornado warning is going to continue until 1 o'clock. We've shown you wind gusts in these storms and potentially sustained winds of over 100 miles per hour just off the deck. Now, the signature that we were looking at earlier, right in here, still moving out there to the west of Henderson and still exhibiting winds of about 80 to 100. This is a little bit off the surface, but it does indicate that we have at least the potential in there for a tornado, a brief spin-up type tornado to move across Union Township down here, so Burdett Park, West Franklin over that way, and then you have Dogtown, Cypress, and then on up into Howell, the west side of Evansville, if it continues straight up that path, which it probably will kind of work up like that. We don't want to forget Posey County either. We have a tornado warning for you until 1 o'clock. Mount Vernon, you need to be locked down right now, although the radar now showing things have kind of shifted a little bit. I would be a little more concerned out east of Mount Vernon there by Mars Elementary School and then down toward the A.B. Brown Power Plant. and West Franklin, the town, not the street, right in that area. You see that's where that cluster of strongest winds is happening, and that's all moving to the northeast at about 70. It's knocking the lights out. Hopefully you're getting us either over the radio or on our 14 First Alert app. I know we're streaming. We're going to go to Caroline Clapp right now. She's going to show you a pretty incredible map right now, I believe, of power outages. Caroline, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, a lot of people in Western Kentucky do not have power right now. I want to go over through a lot of the counties here. So right now we have about 500 people in Henderson County without power. Davis County reporting about 1,300 people without power. Hopkins County nearing 300 without power. McLean County at 94. Webster County almost 1,900 people without power. Union County is at close to 1,600 people without power. So the power outage map certainly lighting up. Certainly a lot of work for utility crews today, Jeff.
Okay, thanks, Caroline, for that update on power outages. Hopefully you have your phone charged. You're able to watch our coverage. I believe we're streaming it not only on the app, but on Facebook. We are simulcasting with our radio partners, 104 FM WIKY. If you're driving right now, this is, after all, lunch hour. A lot of folks perhaps on the move. You need to be getting into a safe spot if you're on the road. Pull off, get into a building if you can, because when these winds come in, they could overtake wherever you are very quickly, and they could produce damage, whether it's trees down on the power lines or we just took a power hit here at the station. There's another one. So that tells me that we probably have some trees being blown down or power lines being knocked down as well. Again, our strongest winds now just about to cross the river here near Burdett Park in southwestern Vanderburgh County, and that was showing wind just off the surface at 91 miles an hour. I mean, these are damaging winds, folks. Obviously, we don't issue a tornado warning just for show here. This is the real thing with the wind, and it will be coming straight across into western Vanderburgh County right now. So please, everybody needs to be in shelter and monitoring our coverage here as best you can. When it's safe to do so, you can submit your reports and let us know what it's doing actually in your area. I'm going to track straight across Vanderburgh County, and then we're going to get down to the street level here in just a moment. So again, our arrival times really have not changed here. About 5 minutes or so into Howell there, which would be on the west side of Evansville, Mud Center, Howell, out along Broadway, South Barker, and that region. Then into Melody Hill, which would be out by the airport by 12:35, and then Elberfeld, Boonville, a little farther up the line by 12:43 and 12:46. And this will zip right through. You're not going to have a lot of time. Hopefully you've taken these warnings seriously and you're already in your safe place. Obviously school's in session right now. I'm sure all of our schools across Henderson and Posey and Vanderburgh counties are in their safe spots right now. And we are looking at our weather cameras too. Byron is still here, and Arden are double checking information back there. But we really need to emphasize the seriousness here that we're dealing with so early in the season. We have new warnings too out to the north of these tornado warnings. Gibson, Pike, Warwick, and Spencer County, you are all now in a severe thunderstorm warning. Not too terribly surprising given the environment that we're in right now. Let's clear that off, and we will look at the new warnings. Basically, that new batch of warnings will continue until 1:15 Central or 2:15 Eastern Time. We have a couple counties here that are in the Eastern Time Zone. So basically everybody is at risk here. But our biggest concern right now, obviously, is within this cluster of tornado warnings. It looks like Union County should be in the clear here. That one's going to go at 12:30. So if you're in Morganfield, Sturgis, down that way, you've got the all clear right now. And then as we go up north, I'm going to zoom in even more here so we don't lose our bearings. So again, we're looking this. So here's the Horseshoe Bend. Here's some roads, familiar roads for you. You've got St. Philip Road and Hogue Road there to the north. And our strongest winds now, at least on this scan on the radar, we're showing up at about 85 to 100 miles an hour, 87 and that would be basically along like Broadway would be the street here. So you're out just to the south of USI now. And remember, this image might be a minute or two old, so this would be moving up more toward the Lloyd Expressway, Hogue Road,